I hear the call of the stars.
G'day guys, Duckfield here. Welcome back to game number 2 of sCfOU versus GuMihofOU from the FXOU Invitational Series number 4. The Korean qualifiers we're having here to see which particular Korean gets access to the Invitational Series. And of course we will see. If you actually are watching this, you may have actually been watching this live as I was actually recording this. I wasn't able to watch exactly at the time, but we do have our Red Terran down here, sCfOU. He did a great job last game of sitting on that. It was sort of a one base play, but he did actually have a little bit of a backup with the second command center being built, and then he was looking quite strong from there. And GuMihofOU up here in the top side of Metalopolis. This is obviously one of the greatest maps since the inception of StarCraft. We've seen game after game. We've seen amazing games such as Tasteless versus Day 9 on this particular map, where I believe it was actually Tasteless who did the float the command center into the gold and do that sort of strat. But we've seen some really nice games on this particular map. It's very balanced, especially these sort of later versions. I believe this is what the GSL version, where you can't have close ground spots. So this is why these guys are spawned so far apart. But back onto game number 1, as I mentioned, we sort of saw a just like a sort of basic Banshee attack from GuMihofOU with a little bit of a failed micro. He actually lost a lot of SCVs to simply it was 2 Hellions that got inside his base and roasted up a lot of SCVs. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more care with his units perhaps this time, a little bit more defense maybe, or perhaps something in something general in, you know, that's something that may deal with what SC has to come out with. Now, as everyone knows, as we mentioned in game 1, SC does a fantastic job with his macro. He has absolutely insane macro. In fact, there we go, building that orbital command straight when that barracks was done. And we'll see what GuMihofOU has to contend with here, and we'll probably see in just a moment exactly what these guys are going for. We do see that both of them have got these orbital commands on the way. They've both got 1 gas and the 1 racks, and it looks as if we have a factory going down from GuMihofOU at the moment. It doesn't look as if SC is going for that just yet. Perhaps we'll see what he's going to go for in just a second. There's that SCV running off to the side. We'll see what he is going to build. Comes up to the top, and what does he build? A rack. It's a factory. No, it's a factory. Okay, fair enough. So both of these guys, interestingly, you may have seen neither of them have actually scouted out what is going on, because it's generally in this particular map, because he can be either in those close air spots, so across this direction, or on diagonal spots. So it can be a lot of time to actually get down to your opponent and scout out what's going on. Not to mention the simple fact that a lot of players, as we can see here, don't actually let their opponents get into the base to see exactly what they're doing. Now, GuMihofOU is actually quite in the dark here for the moment. If we have a quick look, he did send out 1 Marine to try and get down. It actually didn't get too far. He brought it back into the base. This is one of the Marines here. But he didn't actually scan out, so he actually has no clue. Now, you will notice that the factory and, in fact, the starport as well are actually up here in the corner. So, generally, when you're doing some sort of scan, a lot of Terran players early on will probably look to something sort of this area here when they're scanning, and that may actually miss both of these buildings. I'm not saying it definitely will, but it could be the case there. It looks as if we did have that first Hellion coming out from GuMihofOU, as he did in the prior games. In fact, going for the exact same build he did previously. He's got that starport pumping out that Banshee, and so we'll see what SC is going to do about that. He was well prepared in the last game. He had a Viking. In fact, it was almost 2 Vikings out by the time GuMihofOU got that that Banshee down to his base, and there it is. Yep, we actually have that Viking popping out again. So he's indeed going to be prepared for this imminent Banshee attack, and we'll see what GuMihofOU is going to do. He is supply block for the moment. Still no second racks. There it is. Second refinery. I keep getting things confused with their first letters, but there is the second refinery. In fact, there is a command center as well. So he is going to be getting up that very quick expansion. The Hellion does almost get inside the base there, but it has essentially seen enough. He's seen that GuMihofOU is going for that very quick expansion. There are a few Marines just defending the ramp at the moment. It looks as a Raven. Okay. No, Banshee. Alright, he's not sure what he was doing. Perhaps clicked the wrong button, but he is going to be preparing for the attack, and then perhaps he's going to do his own. A couple of Marines taking some shots there. It does take 2 shots from the Banshee to take down a Marine. It looks as if the Hellions are going to come along the low ground as well. Perhaps they're going to try and get some vision and roast up these Marines. There's only 3 Hellions at the moment, so I don't think they're going to get too much done. The Viking takes care of the Banshee, and that is going to be it for the harassment at the moment. GuMiho slapping down 1 more Rax to actually get himself prepared just in case there is a counter. But we do see that the Hellions are just sort of sitting out here for the moment. They're going to have to contend with a Viking on the ground. Look at that bad boy roll out. Interestingly, the Vikings will do a nice job against those Hellions, because the Hellions actually don't really do too much damage against mechanical units. So we do see that we actually have an eBay on the way from GuMiho. He's going to have that out, getting prepared for a turret or 2, just in case there is a Banshee on the way. And in fact, there it is. I actually misselected that. There we go, the Banshee coming along from SC. He's going to send this one up and perhaps do a little bit of damage at this early expansion. We'll see what is here to deflect anything. Yes, there is 1 Viking prepared, so he's going to engage this Viking in just a second. Not going to have too much to do, because of course the Banshee cannot shoot air. Trying to take out some of these SCVs, perhaps gets 1, not going to get any more. There it goes. So that is the end of that harassment for the moment, and GuMiho is perhaps going to have a quick look to see what is happening inside the base of SC. Still no expansion, that's what he saw, and he's going to go away, because that tank will absolutely rip the Hellions apart. And we do see as well that SC is just about to expand. So a lot of very same-ish kind of style here from these guys. Not really going too fancy on their tech just yet. We do see that Raven, which is quite interesting, from SC. Still sitting on the 2 racks for the moment. There is a factory with a tech lab and the starport as well. 3rd gas going up for GuMiho, so he could be preparing to sort of shift into something. Is he actually? No, he's not really sort of building anything else just for the moment, but does look as if he is going for a push. There are 2 tanks, some Marines and a Viking, and a medevac on the way. The starport perhaps may have actually, he may see what is coming here. Yes, he will. And these tanks on the low ground doing a little bit of a reverse of the last game, where we did see SC putting the tanks down on the low ground. Siege mode is almost done for SC, so he's going to be in a little bit of an advantage for the moment. Of course, with that Raven to provide a little bit of cover as well, can put down the point defense drone and actually really help out in Viking versus Viking battles. And the Ravens, the Hellions, sorry, just poking around at the natural expansion, not getting too much done. And I think that GuMiho is aware that he's not really going to have too much to do just at the moment. Just going to try and control the map, try and control the xel'naga watchtowers. There we go. He's keeping an eye on what is happening around the map. Has all of this vision, which really helps out. So I'm a bit cautious to see what GuMiho is going to get up to. We do have another medevac coming out. Still no real sign if he's going to stick with this sort of play just yet, but it looks as if he is going to run down here to the 3rd base. The medevac gets taken out by this swarm of Marines that are just roaming around the map, and these guys are going to be well prepared to perhaps deflect this attack, which is just going to come in. And of course, with these tanks sitting down here for SC, he's going to be in a beautiful position to take out that attack if it does come. But it looks as if, once again, GuMiho is just going to fall back for the moment. He's not going to commit to any sorts of battles just yet. Does not want to, you know, get engaged in something he doesn't really need to just yet. So we do see he only has one SCV on that gas. I'm not actually sure if that's intentional. I would assume at this point in the game it is not. You do see sometimes in various matchups, you see players sometimes take a few SCVs or probes or drones off the gas to try and actually get something going there. But it looks as if we do have a drop coming through. GuMiho not actually aware that he's flying by those units of SC, and SC is perhaps not going to be ready for this just yet, but there is an SCV which is just scouting out. Not going to have vision just for the moment, but he is going to be able to see them now. No, he's not. These guys are just out of vision. There you go, and they actually do scout out what is happening. So there is a drop. This drop is going to push through the southern side of the map. Meanwhile, it looks as if SC is going to have a go going up the left side of the map, and now these units are going to have to be very careful. There are some siege tanks up here prepared to attack, and it looks as if this this secondary guerrilla style force is going to come through this southern part. There are a few tanks there, so he's not going to be, well, just the one tank for the moment, but he's definitely not going to be able to get through there too far. But the Marines jump back into the medevac, and they're going to be just holding position for the moment. Now, Got a bit of a stalemate here with these tanks. We do have some of them. We got the 5 up here from GuMiho. We have 5 over here from SC. And these guys are just going to sit here for the moment. They are controlling one xel'naga watchtower each. We do have this one, which does give GuMiho vision if there are any sorts of attacks coming up the right-hand side. But with this medevac, this could be interesting. We'll see if he'll drop on top of the tanks. We do love to see that sort of play. But it looks as if GuMiho is getting prepared, perhaps to move up just a little bit to take advantage of the position he's in. He will be in range of the watchtower, but not the right side of the watchtower, because of course SC, being the very clever player he is, has positioned his Marines on the other side, making sure that they cannot be sniped off by the tanks. And now we have a few Marines just being healed up here at the moment. It looks as if the 3rd base is up and running for GuMiho. He's had this for a little bit now. He is quite far behind in the supply, and it looks as if an attack is going on. Drops going on by SC, in fact, dropping those Marines on top of the tanks, and now rolling in with these Marines, cleaning up a few more of the tanks, moving his tanks up into his own very nice position. He does have 6 in total. They're going to be perhaps moving up just a little bit further, just poking further and further up, as you do see in TVTs. You do see this a lot when they try and just vie for control of these various positions. And it looks as if another tank gets sniped off. These guys are going to have to siege up and be very careful with how much further they progress up to GuMiho's base. And GuMiho does have a nice squad of Marines prepared. And it looks as if SC is going to perhaps poke through the westerly side of the map and perhaps run up to the 3rd. He does not have his own 3rd up just yet. It is just being built now. But there are more forces coming up. We mentioned the macro just a little bit earlier of SC. He's just still absolutely smashing out these units. Look at all these Marines, tanks. We do have a couple more medevacs on the way. He's just an absolute machine in terms of his production. And now, as we can see, he is going to move these few tanks up to the low ground here. Another sort of low ground style attack here. This one tank does have range and vision of the tanks on the low ground, but now SC is going to use his medevac to try and get some vision himself, trying to draw out some of those Marines. That's what you do see a lot in TBTs, is these flying units. They try and draw some Marines over so that they get into range of the tanks and then just absolutely smash down those ground units. But it looks as if GuMiho is going to try and just poke his way across. Not exactly the best idea. There are tanks all across the low ground here for SC, and in fact pushing his own Marines up is not the best idea either, but he is going to be able to pull them back just for the moment here, continue to keep his vision of the high ground. He's taking out SCs, and he's obviously removed that, I think that was a supply depot that was over here, and all the while he is actually getting his own 3rd base up and running. It is just done. There it goes, and he's probably going to have to transfer some of those SCVs across in a minute. But another push coming up the right hand side. This is exactly what we're talking about from SC with his amazing macro. He just does these brilliant secondary, 3rd sort of pushes that will just absolutely cripple you if you don't have enough multitasking. And now he's just moving up here. He can probably siege up here on the low ground, but there are a few tanks prepared here by GuMiho. These guys are a little bit too close to the cliff, perhaps. They're going to get drops on them by the Marines, and in fact GuMiho removing all of his forces from the 3rd base and now coming in to stop this attack. If he can take out the tanks, it'll be really nice for him. He does have a few Marines to deal with on the high ground, and these guys are going to have to move back because they do have a little bit of a problem here over at the 3rd base. Some more Marine drops by SC. That is a beautiful tactic. If you're not sure exactly what we're talking about, you load up a few Marines into a medevac and then run across when the tanks are sort of sieged up like this and there are other tanks around. You can actually drop the Marines on top of your opponent's tanks, and then the tanks will take the splash damage from the shots on the Marines. And now here we go, we'll see a perfect example of it. This tank here taking a lot of damage. These couple here have taken a lot as well. We do see this one is just about dead. In fact, goes down to some of the Marine fire, and that is exactly what I'm talking about with those types of drops. And one Marine just not surviving, having a good day over there at all. And I think we may have had another drop over here. This is going insane at the moment. But the 3rd base is still up and running for SC, and so is GuMiho. So these guys are sort of on an even kill at the moment, dropping down a Marine on there. There you go. Here are these drops we're talking about, taking out all of these tanks here. In fact, we'll probably secure this position. He does have a great deal of Marines here at the moment. That Raven just sitting off to the side, not actually able to use that too much when there are no Viking battles going on. And have a look at this. This guy is absolutely insane, losing tanks, having to deal with some drops, and now he just walks along with this brilliant this macro, just walking up with another force to contend with, and GuMihofOU's just going to have to hold position here and try and fend off this this secondary attack on this westerly side of the map. And it looks as if GuMihofOU is going to do his own sort of secondary attack as well. He perhaps will come down here to this third base. It has taken a lot of damage here for SC, so he's going to have to be very prepared, although his signature move, moving along here with some extra units that he's been producing, keeping up. In fact, he is currently just one supply ahead. No, they're even now. But it looks as if GuMihofOU is going to try and attack in here. His tank is not sieged up. This could be a good battle for GuMihofOU. Moves into position there, causes the cancel on that fourth command center. Going to cause the lift of this one as well. And he's just denied this third base for the moment. He's definitely not going to be able to move into position here. There are some extra backup forces coming in from SC. And he's probably, here we go, he's using those SCVs as shield. Going to move in here and try and take out. There are 3 tanks at the back, so he's going to take a few losses, but he's definitely going to be able to crush through this in just a second. There it goes. So GuMihofOU is looks as if he's getting a little bit daring with his units here. He's only left a very small contingent here where there are just these 5 tanks. It's obviously still a lot to deal with, but if he can just leave that base for the moment and perhaps get some more damage done on SC's main, he does look like he's going to move into the natural here. Stim going off. He's going to run into one tank. These Marines are going to deal with that tank quite quickly, even before a secondary shot can get off. And there we go. These guys are getting healed up quite a lot. The tanks siege up at the back to deny any reinforcement access from the third base, and it looks as if SC is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He is going to take a few damage shots here. He does lose the that command center there. I believe that was lost, but his reinforcements coming through the back here. He should be able to deal with this. There are only a couple of medevacs just there. There they are. They are coming back in here, and SC will definitely be able to deal with this for the time being with those tanks flooding through the back. Probably going to lose all of these medevacs. Is GuMihofOU. There he goes, and now he's going to have to be well prepared for any sorts of attacks. And in fact, he was not actually prepared, of course, with that loss of the positioning there. He's now lost that sort of siege he had on that third base of GuMihofOU, and brilliant multitasking there by GuMihofOU. We have another attack here. Siege lines are going off, and we do have a few more tanks here for SC. In fact, there are a lot of tanks for SC, so he's again in a brilliant spot there with his absolutely unfathomable macro there with 6 tanks here, a few Marines. He is going to push up through the right hand side of the map, and we'll have a look to see what GuMihofOU has prepared for that. We don't actually have too much coming along from him. He is pumping out a lot of Marines and some other units. He is getting ready to rally to this position here, but the tanks are ready on the ground, and they have taken out some of those Marines. Now with a few tanks off to the left, scans going off left, right and center, we have a lot of medevacs, actually, interestingly, considering how low the Marine count is at the moment for SC, but he is going to elevate some of these units up to the high ground here. Going to need to use that vision to let these siege tanks go to town on what is up here for GuMihofOU, losing one of his tanks. A few Marines still sitting inside the production facilities here, just waiting to actually run out and try and do what he can. He's going to have to deal with a lot, because down here at the main base we do have a drop here from from GuMihofOU. He's got some tanks sieged out on the low ground. This is essentially a mirror of exactly what is happening on the other side of the map, and it looks as if, in fact, another drop coming along here from GuMihofOU. This kid is all over the place. He's taking down this command center. That is definitely going down. No, there are SCVs on the ground. Gets away with this medevac, going to get out of there, but now he has a lot to deal with these tanks on the high ground. He's going to lose his factory. This is going to burn down in just a second, especially if it's going to fly over those Marines. But it looks as if SC is just trying to get into position to take out some of these tanks, which are defending very valiantly here for GuMihofOU. He's probably going to lose this medevac though. No, in fact, SC lost his medevac, but now a 4th base is getting produced here over at essentially the 5th expansion for GuMihofOU. So he's going to be having that extra base up in just a moment, perhaps, if he can hold that up for the moment. In fact, he's essentially going to have 2 bases up on SC, in fact, because we've lost this expansion here. That medevac, that very troublesome medevac, has gotten around the side. These Marines have certainly a decent amount of kills on these guys. They are going to die to this force that just comes in here. The upgrades are just looking a tiny bit better for SC at the moment, I think. If we just have a quick look, we've got SC on 2-1 with his Marines. He's got, 1-2, and then we do have 1-1 for GuMihofOU at the moment, but he does have a superior force putting down some auto turrets. Not really going to help too much. What I would love to see is some heat-seeker missiles, but he doesn't have any of them. And now Gumiho is in a great position. He's got this base, which is just about up and running. Can probably switch that into an orbital command, and then he will be just in a really good position, having 4 orbital commands up and running, being able to put down mules left, right, and center. Some tanks are being produced, and it looks as if Gumiho is going to start perhaps moving in for the kill in just a moment. SC is currently just sitting on the left-hand side of Metalopolis. He's trying to secure this xel'naga watchtower. The forces of Gumiho are just running around, not wanting to let SC sit tight. He is going to try and perhaps come in here with these tanks. Not going to get a shot off, I don't think. No, the Marines just got out in time, and SC is struggling to keep control of the game at the moment. He's very much in a sort of bad spot at the moment with only this one mining base up. I'm actually really surprised that he hasn't moved this orbital command across to the natural expansion. I know there aren't really too many minerals here, but he's definitely could use that extra income to make sure he is producing with that fantastic macro we were talking about. He's currently sitting at 85 supply to the 168 of Gumiho, and Gumiho now just jumping right up ahead of SC, and SC is perhaps moving forward. This is his last hurrah. He's trying to get this drop and this tank siege on the low ground going. He's not going to be able to get too much done. There are so many Marines and tanks ready here for Gumiho, whilst he has everything down here at the natural. Moving inside, this could turn into a base race, but I don't think SC is in any way, shape or form to try and actually get that to work. Taking out the command center, now moving inside the main with a lot of tanks and those Marines. This is probably going to be the end, considering he has no way to push up this hill here for SC, and Gumiho is just probably going to take this game in just a moment. We will probably see the GG, and there are the Marines taking out these production facilities here. Then there it is, the GG goes there for SC, doing a decent job trying to keep control on the map. We saw drops all over the place from Gumiho, and of course we did see some of these various tank pushes from both of these guys off to the side of the various mains and other positions, but looks as if Gumiho came out just ahead with that third base that was up and running a lot faster. So we'll see what happens in game number 3. Cheers.